Japanese cinema anime experience is something that not many in the Western world has made or experienced. In this essay, I will look at how the Japanese national cinema gets misrepresented the most and Americanized. The cinema culture of Japan is vastly different from the formula of a typical Hollywood film. For example, in the 50s and 60s, an interest in the foreign market made its way to the West because those films didn't follow the Hollywood style and were considered as the art cinema movement, where they explore more in terms of characters, social classes, and goals that are not always clearly visible. Anime films are a league entirely their own. In his book, Japanese Visual Culture Explorations in the World of Anime and Manga, Mark W. McWilliams says, anime is as much a work of art as other forms of entertainment. He even goes as far as saying that anime is a branch of cinema that has produced fine works comparable to live-action films. The influence that anime has in Hollywood films and TV shows how much anime status has changed in the last decade. With anime films such as Akira, Ghost in the Shell, and Evangelion Genesis, they went on to inspire popular films such as The Matrix, Pacific Rim, and Inception. From being obscure and weird to now mainstream cinema releases, the anime influence has also seen a rise of not so good live-action treatments. With Hollywood's interest in the anime market and rise in popularity, the studios only see dollar signs when they make a live-action version of an anime, special effects and CGI that it's laughable, and changing the main themes of the story to a Hollywood formula completely ruined the idea that the mangaka wanted to make. Goes to show how only making a film just for profit alone is not only a bad business move, but you also alienate the fans. A good prime example of this would be the executives just threw out the window because they figured with how popular with the name alone, they can just make whatever they wanted and people will come flooding in. What happened instead was a very poorly made film with no heart of what the original story was, and it has been dubbed by fans as the #1 worst live-action remake, and so began the so-called live-action curse. So far, only one has managed to break the said curse and actually rose to being #1 in 3 weeks on Netflix, and that's called One Piece. Based on the longest running anime in the world, the live-action treatment of One Piece shows how if someone actually cares about the story and puts in a little bit of an effort in the making process, live-action based on anime can actually work. The reason that live-action treatments based off of anime fails is the cross-culture. What might be accepted in Japan might not be accepted in America, and in doing so the Americans have changed certain plot points due to the censorship. In the article, Joseph Campbell's Oriental Mythology in Ghost in the Shell 1995 and Occidental Mythology in Ghost in the Shell 2017, the authors Quao Li, Edwin Lee Phil Tan, and Juan Hua Yang says the Americanizing of live-action anime adaptations could be seen in the 1990s with titles like Guyver and Fist of the North Star, containing plots that strayed from the original anime. The low budget provided further diminished the filmmakers' efforts in fleshing out most of the stylistic elements present in the original. Subsequent anime adaptation releases in the 2000s like Speed Racer and Dragon Ball Evolution have also suffered from a lackluster narrative that do not do the original anime justice. It also goes on to say that the live-action Ghost in the Shell is staying true to the American idealism of heroics and losses, and loses what the anime version wanted to say. The cross-culture divide is probably the #1 reason why most live-action adaptations have failed. My theory on why that is not mostly racism, but also misunderstanding of what the storyteller in Japan wanted to say is lost in translation. Some Americans might try to be respectful in their version, but due to American censorship, like I said before, what's acceptable in Japan might not be acceptable in America, and so have to, unfortunately, stick to the Hollywood formula.